You made a point in your tweet storm that was so powerful, responding to those who say, oh, in defense of the so-called Seditious Six, the six lawmakers who went out there and started this whole thing by saying, hey, soldiers, don't obey illegal orders. People say, you know what? It's just a reminder to these soldiers in these tumultuous times, like you don't have the obligation to follow an illegal order, and they just needed that. What you had a response to that? Tell us what it is.
Yeah, we don't need to be having spent 22 years in the military, I'm just still kind of part of my identity, and so I still identify in that, even though I'm no longer in. But service members, me included, when I was in, we don't need reminders that we have to we have an obligation not to obey manifestly unlawful orders, right? So not just unlawful orders, but manifestly. We don't need anyone from Congress. We don't need anyone from the outside to remind us of this because, it's part of the ethos that we live every day. It's drilled into us, starting in basic training, and it's part of our following orders. It's part of the military life. It's part of good order and discipline. But we already understand that we have no obligation to follow manifestly unlawful orders. And so the people who are reminding us or reminding the members of the DoD of this, they know that service members don't need to be reminded that we have no obligation to follow manifestly unlawful orders. They're doing this to create doubt, to second guess the current political leadership of the military, civilian and senior military leadership, to create the appearance that the orders that are being given are manifestly unlawful, and so there is an obligation not to follow them. And that is also irresponsible because, again, it's not something we need to be reminded of, and the obligation is not just to not follow or not obey unlawful orders, but it's manifestly unlawful. The context of the people, the members of Congress who are being referred to as the Seditious Six, they're making their case that this is not an armed conflict, that it should actually be human rights law that's applying, and we should not be engaged in military strikes against these boats. And that's an opinion, and that's it's interesting academically. But the troops who are involved in this conflict are not specialists in international law involving the resort to force. And so that's at the political leadership level. And so we are given orders. We have determined, the political leadership has determined that you are in an armed conflict. So apply law of armed conflict to this rather than human rights law. And that is we're not in a position to understand whether that is unlawful or not. We are going to comply with law of armed conflict.